Assalamualaikum. Very good morning to all my colleagues, my friends. So today, my turn to share with you some simple topic related to feature identification and filtering for the IC engine misfire. Basically, before why and the reason why, actually, I have one student. Is Marum is a super bright student who very much interested on the research on engine. So then we cater based on my experience related with instrumentation and so on, controls and so on. So we apply to his hobby of the engine, and we identify the issue of the misfire about lean combustion and so on. So today we will go further to understand about the misfire and so on. Before that, we go through about the motivation, and then I will correlate it how the introduction of the so-called pollution and how misfire also contribute to the, so how we detect the internal combustion engine misfire happen and cause of misfire. We go through a few adjectives, and we have what so-called simulation part, we have modeling part, and then we experimental part. Through the process of developing the what so-called feature identification of misfire, we also develop what called full consumption per kit, and where we apply inside in our experiment. And though we have go through a few model give few experimental works, we will discuss further on the result discussion. And we have conclude through the conclusion. So let's look at the motivation why when we say that development country, it will cause what we call the relegation of the pollution issue, because there are some in a certain extent they not really apply on the what regulation have been still carried out. So the three factor can be what we consider is one is from the vehicle emission. Really, when we see at the graph, they show that industrial vehicle or the motor vehicle, they contribute gradually the increasing number of people. As long we have the population increase, the number of usage on the vehicles increase. And moreover, when we have the more industry, high-tech industry and so on, then and then I comply with the green or any standard about the pollution matter, we simply throw all the what we call the pollution or the process from the industry through the open air. So, and then we also have facing a few problems related with the forest disaster or for fire in the forest in our neighbor country and so on. So this is a factor that we can consider in the what so-called air pollution. Okay, let's look at how the numbers of the vehicle increase. Vehicles such as car and motorcycle are very popular use. As for example, those who have kid once is graduated, for sure we will buy for them the car. So you will increase gradually from one family one car, now increasing with 3 car, 4 car. But then when the vehicle will not well proper maintenance and so on, vehicle that lack of maintenance, for sure the internal combustion engine inside will emit a harmful gas when not maintained it properly. And moreover, when the pollution increase, the effect of people healthy will also will effects. So as we see, the number of the driver increase, the car and the motorcycle also increase. So this is our life cycle, where we have population, we have life basis, and then we have type of engine, and then contribute of pollution, and then last we facing our difficulty on the disease issue. Okay, internal combustion engine, actually, as we concern that what it use, and emission caused by incomplete combustion such as engine misfire normally occur. This misfire, actually we cannot hear vertically unless we attach some sensor inside the system so that we can identify the misfire. The importance of engine misfire detection, or we call EMD, is to ensure the engine emission not harmful to the environment to avoid damage of the catalytic converter. As a low-cost narrowband oxygen sensor to acquire air to fuel ratio, or we call AFR, since behavior under misfire condition can be analyzed. So in this particular study, we do using DFT, and then from the FT we do some filtering in order to identify the particular misfire features. Okay, and then how this misfire can cause by. So basically they have a few considerations can be considered, where we have faulty of the ignition control, we have unstable ignition system, we have leaky combustion chamber, also we have fuel ignition issue, unsuitable ratio or fuel ratio AFR, and then dirty intake manifold sensor. So engine misfire will be defined as the engine loss and its ability to ignite and mixture in the combustion chamber at a particular moment. As we can see that when the engine combustion mix of the air and the fuel have possibility of unburned mixture will contribute to the engine misfire. This misfire gradually will occur of the engine misfire will damage the exhaust catalytic converter and increase the harmful emission of the exhaust gas to the environment and air pollution. Moreover, when the vehicle manufacturer not follow the standard regulation as the comply done by the European emission standard, the engine must be compensated with the aid of the closed loop control system. Let's look at what we can understand about the risk mixture and the link mixture. So the risk mixture is we can see in the graph, you can find that the graph show that okay, H is high high constant, and we have the line of the cover, and then the excess unburned fuel, tendency of engine overheat, and so on. So if we calculate on the also ideal combustion engine, and we see in the graph, we can see that the tendency of the transient response of the good mixture given by this graph, and the unbalanced mixture given this graph. So the unbalanced of the air fuel ratio will consume the misfire. The rest is about regulation, efficiency, and the cost. So now we talk about our objective, how we can model our engine in order to get the misfire signal. Then we need to design certain extent of the simulation system in order to observe the misfire signal, as we can use the narrowband oxygen sensor as modeling. And then when we have that model, how to actuate the artificial, meaning that we design some actuation through the artificial misfire on the real condition engine for misfire signal acquisition, so that it can be analyzed by various signal through the pre-processing parameter and methods. And over once we have this particular understanding, we are able to develop the algorithm for engine misfire detection that is capable in counting continuous misfire occurrence at a different engine speeds. Okay, we divided methodology part in as for example, we have engine modeling simulation, because in order to get the appropriate number of FR. So we need to understand the process where the experimental where we reverse engineering from doing experimental from the engine. From then we get some certain parameter value, so we can easily to design in aside our engine modeling simulating, and then we do some modification and reconstruction so that we can have the simulation based data, and finally we can add and detail the scenario identification. Okay, let's look at this. Is particularly our testing kit for this project. We develop what we call mobile, where we have the engine mounting inside, and then we have some all this our control unit system inside. We also have our narrowband oxygen sensor, and then we have computer unit in order to acquire our data and to display our our experimental. So you will start with engine mounting this design of CAD, and then we have installation about the wiring so that we have a distant working workman, and then the manifold modification in order to attach the oxygen sensor, and then we have the artificial Misfire actuator system. Finally, we have the instrumentation to set up the data. We use the AQ. Previously, we using the channel what we call the AQ. Instead of that, we develop our own controller. This is our self-designed circuit board where we have input circuit and we have output circuit in order to acquire our signal. So we have this is the flow chart of the input injector signal, and with Misfire whether it's using timer so that we can understand which period of the occur. So we have no or yes where the signal sent to the MOSFET, and finally we get the information. So this is the existing work. Now we already packaging as a product that for hobbies, for motorcycle hobbies to be used. So and then we go on feature extraction, go through the oxygen sensor signal acquisition, and then we extract through the FT, or we can have another side through the DWT. So we from for the FT we using the digital butterfly signal, and then for the DWT we using coefficient or approximation, and finally we understand how the phenomena of the engine misfire detection. Okay, we have to consider a certain extent of the in order to understand this is the simulation. We get the idea how Misfire works, and then we have the real signal, and then we have whether it's unheated or heated oxygen sensor. So we have two conditions to carry out, and then from Misfire signal we can have the frequency spectrum. We have first order or all this filtering system, and then we can through this we can detect the misfire, and also we can understand Balafar alarm signal or we of FAR rates. And this is typical so-called engine model toolbox we design into the simulink. So we have a throttle, we have the manifold, and then we engine and combustion, and then we can display the engine speed and so on. Okay, in order to actuate the Misfire actuator subsystem of the CBS, this is the idea how we can merge, and then we can display the scope. And when we combine between the Misfire actuator and oxygen sensor as a model whole, the model is represent the modeling system. So we have this all this simulink related. So this is the FT. Everybody know very well about the FT. This is the equation that most of the time we are using, and then we through the simulation, this is what we call through the MACE lab, we can a certain extent of what we call parameter given, we can detect this phenomena in the simulated engine. Now, and then when we have using the simulator using the oxygen sensor response, we find this is the real what we call condition of the phenomena. So we try within the range of the 1000 and then less than 2000 RPM with no heater condition, we can identify the misfire occur in this graph. And when we have what we call higher speed, let's say 3400 RPM with the heater, we identify with the lower peak inside the what we call the how the complicated more than 10,000 or 35,000 signals, so we can identify this is the misfire condition. And then okay, we apply the exhaust gas produced by the combustion flow into the exhaust while oxygen sensor measures the level of oxygen in terms of HR. The signal produced by the oxygen sensor acquired by using oscilloscope by this sample rate. So this is the flow of engine combustion sensors, and we propagate the artificial misfire, and then we have the output signal fire detection. So this is currently this is frequency spectrum raw signal, and these are the frequency numbers of we now heater and heater, the increasing changes inside the RPM performance, and then this is the artificial engine misfire is actuated to simulate engine misfire signal. In order to analyze the pattern of signal frequency with the misfire event occur, we use a microcontroller to control the fuel injector behavior in order to produce the misfire. Moreover, when the magnitude of signal will be higher, then the noise can be observed. Okay, so water filter is designed to cut or cancel the noise frequency that is higher than the misfire signal. This is Butterworth's response. We consider about from the order 1 until order 4. This is the the curve represent the first order, first, second, third order. This is slightly the first, second, third, and fourth. Okay, and then we have the detailed consideration. This is the signal for the first order, and this is for the fourth order. And when we compare about the what I call misfire detection accuracy, we do understand that through the calculation, whether we apply the condition of heater off or heater on, the numbers of accuracy arrive at 91.66 accuracy. And then this another part where we apply the DWT. This is level 1, level 3, and level 7, as we see from the previous slide. And then this is the when we apply 3 example of how they purchase 2 and 4. This is the performance where we apply the heater off and heater on. And then this is the level of misfire detection accuracy through the DWT. So, as the conclusion, as the result and discussion, the oxygen sensors in a acquired by Assoc will be have a noise that different of the frequency, and the signal is dropped when the misfire occur because the lean of combustion. Good signal filtering increase the detection accuracy, and signal of noise ratio SNR is measured as the reference of EMDM performance. So we do calculation about the SNR, and before filtering after we get this number 15.97 and 34.76. So is slightly double of the value inside before and after. So this is the number of misfire actuated at a particular time. Let's say we have the first 0.8, and the second we have around 10.8, and then we have another 20.8, and then this is the last is 31. So this is the what's so-called period where we can from the rough of the signal we filtering. After filtering we acquire where the misfire happen in a certain what we call every 20 10 seconds period. So we can see the what we call the signal or some behavior of signal can represent from this graph. So you have beginning at 0.8, and then you have 10.8, you have 20.8, and you have 31. So this is the what's so called misfire. So last and not least is about conclusion. We as an auto cycle engine widely produce based on a study of the vehicle statistics around the world, and emission of the exhaust can increase. The frequency analysis by using DFT is obtained to prevent the frequency of signal and noise. Second order butterworth filter is designed. The signal of oxygen sensor acquired by oscilloscope will be filtered to reduce noise and increase SNR. Filter signal have less of noise easily to be recognized and increase the efficiency of EMD algorithm to be compensate engine misfire. So a few publications have been done for these particular studies for the Scopus level publication. So we have a feature you can go through about the paper topic related to feature identification filter for engine detection EMD, and then we also have misfire diagnostic approach and internal content using continuous signal acquisition system. And lately we have signal processing for engine misfire detection on vehicle using closed loop system. You can find that also we do participate previous what we call so-called Innovate Malaysia. We managed to get the only for consolation due to the niche area, not so for this particular year the most like product related with the community or end user using rather than hobby and so on. So we do present a certain extent of the we awarded for the best paper and so on. So this all about presentation. If you interested on that matter in detail, you can contact me through my Elmi mlmi.usm.my, or you can go through later from this MACE website. Thank you very much for your kind attention.